3,000 years ago, he gave us an example that we can follow today, an example of what a husband and father, and simply an honest person should be. He showed us how a poet should feel, what a teacher should teach, what an artist should strive for, what a scientist should believe in, and what a philosopher should think about. Arthur Weigel. Akhenaten attempted to move off his culture away from traditional Egyptian religion, but these changes were not widely accepted. After his death, his monuments were dismantled and hidden, his statues were destroyed, and his name was removed from the lists of pharaohs. Traditional religious practice was gradually restored, and when several decades later, the rulers of the 18th dynasty without clear succession rights founded a new dynasty, they discredited Akhenaten and his immediate successors, calling Akhenaten himself an enemy or criminal in archival records. Finally, Akhenaten, Neferneferuaten, Smenkhkare, Tutankhamun, and I were omitted from the official lists of pharaohs, which instead reported that Horemheb had immediately succeeded Amenhotep III. This is thought to have been part of Horemheb's attempt to remove all traces of Atonism and the pharaohs associated with it from the historical record. Akhenaten's name does not appear in any of the king lists compiled by later pharaohs, and it was not until the late 19th century that his identity was rediscovered and surviving traces of his reign discovered by archaeologists. It was during his reign that the Jews were directly involved in his reforms, and the end of the 18th dynasty under Pharaoh Tutankhamun led to the Jewish people's exodus. Amarna is a settlement on the east bank of the Nile. In its area are the ruins of the ancient Egyptian city of Akhenaten. Aton is one, which was built by the pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, Akhenaten, like Aton, and proclaimed the capital during his reign. The city existed for about 15 years, counting from the beginning of construction until the death of Akhenaten, soon after which the city was abandoned by the royal dynasty and residents. In Amarna, Akhenaten built a center for the cult of the god Aton, moved his residence and the capital of the ancient Egyptian state from Thebes there. After Akhenaten's death, the cult of Aton was eventually suppressed, and the capital was returned to Thebes. Aton, this name means all or complete, was the solar deity of ancient Egypt, representing the solar disk in the sky. In Egyptian mythology, it was considered the spirit that encouraged life on earth. In the first myths of the creation of Egypt, it is claimed to be the supreme creator, the life force that animates everything on earth. During the first 9 years of the Amarna period, Aton is identified with Ra-Horakhti. The first thing that is observed in the new religion of Akhenaten is the persistent struggle not to leave it exclusively in the hands of the priests. There is only one supreme representative of God on earth, the pharaoh, who is also the high priest of Ra-Horakhti. Akhenaten ascended the throne around 1353. His reign lasted 17 years. In the 10th year of his reign, Akhenaten ordered the erasure of the name of Amun and his wife Mut from all monuments. This caused a major problem in the Egyptian belief system, since people could not imagine gods without form and image. In his reforms, Akhenaten relied on low-born service people, the so-called Nemku, which meant orphans, of course, figuratively. Here are the names of some of them: Hua, harem keeper Merira, high priest of Aton. Merira's wife Ronit was a great favorite of Nefertiti Amos, high dignitary, head of rural lands in Akhenaten. Pinehas, one of the first priests of Aton. Dudu, Chamberlain Ramose, general commander, possibly the great Moshe. Ramose, born of the god Ra, so from his original name only Moshe remained. Maya, the main administrator of the army. Akhenaten died under unknown circumstances, and after his death, the religious reform began to gradually wind down under pressure from the disgraced clergy. A few years later, the throne passed to the boy pharaoh Tutankhamun. The time of the Exodus was approaching. Details in my book,